All right, so let's try it here. Let's see how you guys, I think you guys, it's a little harder going backwards, isn't it? So let's try, it's just fine. That's why we're here, we're learning. First thing we gotta do is make sure that the next green part, the green part is where? Is on the receding line. So let's give ourselves a nice space. So if you look to measure it, let's measure the distance here between the green dots on this one. That's 1 1/4 inches. So that means the next one has to be bigger. I'm gonna make it 2 inches. So if the distance between the two green ones on this receding line was 1 1/4 inches, I gotta make sure it's bigger. So I'm gonna go 2 inches out. So now I'm gonna go 2 inches out and make a dot on both sides, right? That's common sense, it's just bigger. So now that I have this, it's always best to start with that part and you run a line up until it hits the receding line. So now I'm gonna run a line up like that. And that is gonna be in line. So let's do it on both sides. Cool. Now that will give me the appropriate space that I need. And so then all I have to do now is draw a line. Okay, well actually now all I have to do is measure this one. So that was 1/2 inch. I'm gonna go over 3/4 of an inch. I'm gonna make the pillar bigger. I'll put an F for front. So I just make it a little bit bigger. 3/4 of an inch was the amount that I decided. That's gonna be a good amount. Just a little bit bigger. Just like this. Okay? So then I'm gonna run the line all the way up, straight up until it hits the receding line, which actually this is pretty much at the top of the paper for mine. I'm gonna put an orange dot. See? And then over here, I'm gonna run a line all the way up until it hits the receding line, which is pretty much straight up, right here. And I'm gonna put an orange dot. So the secret for this one, so you make sure, is you gotta make sure that the green dots are getting bigger, then it allow you to have enough space for all the parts in the middle, all the 3D parts. And so if I run now my line straight across the top like this, that's now going to be the top of my lentil. And then I can go straight across like this. Boom. And I'm going to write front. Okay. Now it looks like too big of a gap there, right? It might look like too big of a gap, but it's not, because now we have plenty of space to put our 3D part. So watch this. So you guys with me? So I just made a bigger gap. Now, it was about a little bit over 1/4 of an inch in between. So what I want to do then is make sure it's at least, I don't know, at least 1/2 inch or so. So I'm going to make it right to here. 1/2 inch is probably a good number. And then all I have to do, that still allows me to have a slightly bigger gap. And I'll just run a line straight up perpendicular to the horizon line, like this. And then let's shade that one in. And I'm going to use the side of the pencil. You see how easy that one is? You just have to start with the green dots there. And then now that I have this line, I can just go straight across until it hits the other side. Boom. And then straight down, like so. And now, there's my edge. And so let's shade this one in. And then the final one, shade the top and we're done. And then this is the front. So what was the key? What was the secret? Start with 1. Now you can see here, if I put the arrow's the right distance. Start with 1, draw your receding lines, and then after you draw the second one, you could draw either this one or the other one. Make sure that the spacing between the corners here are getting smaller. If I was going to put a 4th one in there, all I would do is, since the spacing here was 1 1/4, I would make sure this one is only like an inch or something, and I would just put a little green dot for the spacing. Okay, so that's how you would do it, making sure in 1 point perspective there with the edge and all that.